Women should remain silent in the churches. They are not allowed to speak, but must be in submission, as the law says. If they want to inquire about something, they should ask their own husbands at home. For it is disgraceful for women to speak in the church.
Samuel said to Saul, I am the one the Lord sent to anoint you king over his people Israel. So listen now to the message from the Lord. This is what the Lord Almighty says. I will punish the Amalekites.
Jésus, par ton sang précieux, enlève mon iniquité. Regarde-moi sur les cieux, dis-moi que tu m'as pardonné. J'ai longtemps erré cœur rebelle, mais j'entends ta voix qui m'appelle. Au pied de ta croix maintenant, tout confus, brisé, je me rends. Blanc, blanc, plus blanc que neige, blanc, blanc, plus blanc que neige, lavé dans le sang de l'agneau, je serai plus blanc que la neige.
Now go, attack the Amalekites, and totally destroy all that belongs to them. Do not spare them. Put to death men and women, children and infants, cattle and sheep, camels and donkeys. 1 Samuel 15.
Indeed, tonight we are going to have a program that is very similar to the previous weeks, whereby we go over a set of slides. And so for those of you who are familiar with the program, you know that we've started this since December the 25th, 2024. Yeah. And now we've covered a number of items having to do with the topic of how people of African descent are negotiating their relationship with Judeo-Christianity. This is the essence of our discussion, and the backdrop for it is my book, Vive Bon Dia ba Religion, published in Haitian Creole in the year 2000. And so tonight, the title is White Missionaries, Black Cadavers, and Genocide in Haiti. No, it is not pretty, and frankly, if I could spare you, I would. But this is very timely, very important for us to shed light for what at least we can decipher from what is going on in Haiti and the connection with missionaries in general, Christian missionaries, white Christian missionaries in particular. And no, it's not pretty. There are folks who use the word genocide. Whichever way you look at it, there is a lot of people getting killed in Haiti. And like we say in the song, "C'est pas bon Dieu manger yo, c'est pas bon Dieu tuer yo." They are not dying of natural death. All right, let us proceed to say that whereas in the past we've talked about, our concept of God, religion, and all of the things that are in between, and what people of African descent have done to try to accommodate and make the thing work. Last week we saw the white man's burden, this theme from Rudyard Kipling's poem, and how it resonates today with some of the actions of people like Donald Trump. So today, when discussing white missionaries, black cadavers, and genocide in Haiti, we will also have three stops. The first one is titled Bibles, Guns, and Other Poisons, from Bartholomew de las Casas to James White Glenn and Frère Joël. We will see who these individuals are. The second one is Pastor Marx lays hand and prays on the head of the terrorist Jimmy Babekyou Cherizier. And the third stop, faking revolution to crush real dissent. White warlords hire black warlords. Toto Constant, Guy Philippe, Jimmy Babekyou Cherizier. Indeed, you will hear that name again and again. This is supposedly the most wanted criminal in Haiti. And it's just disturbing. These young men that you probably have seen on your TV screen carrying weapons that are estimated to be $7,000 to $8,000 a piece, if not more, while they are wearing basic t-shirts, some of them wearing sandals, barely with enough to dress themselves up. Uh, this is not a natural phenomenon, and we will be discussing what this has to do with missionaries going to Haiti. Indeed. Uh, this sentence there in Haitian Creole, Jean Blanc v'lila, is literally translated as exactly the way the white man wants it. This is what they exclaim as they go on a rampage, destroying the core downtown of the capital city of Port-au-Prince and burning things up. Exactly how the white man wants it. That's what these young black men scream. Why? Well, tonight we will be talking about the role that missionaries have played in Haiti. And we say Bibles, guns, and other poisons. And it has been like that since the arrival of the first missionaries. As we've seen in previous slides or previous episodes, when the Europeans arrived on the American continent, the first place where they established a a post, you know, landed and said that they were going to live was the island of Haiti, which currently uh, uh, houses the Republic of Haiti or Haiti on the western side and the Dominican Republic on the eastern side. So when Columbus and his hordes of criminals arrived in Haiti, there were militaries, there were merchants, of course, and there were missionaries. One of them, who is very famous, is Bartholomew de las Casas, and he's credited with coming up with the idea of going to kidnap Africans to replace the dying Arawak people who were being murdered by the thousands once the Europeans had arrived and discovered that the island was rich in gold and all kinds of other things. And so, what was the role of the missionaries during those early years of colonization? I submit that it was a very important role in the colonization process, whereby the priest by collecting, I say that when people go to confession, okay, was a very effective spy for the colonial administrators, because those who started to adopt the European superstition called Christianity would go and confess to the priest, and the priest would gather all of this information and, of course, share it with the other Europeans who are taking over the new land. And so we say that the missionaries very early on proved to be relatively cheap spies. But of course, they played more roles than that. The missionaries were also kidnappers. They had their own number of slaves, like people that they enslaved and kept on their territories. So they were just as brutal as all the other criminals who had arrived from Europe. But that role as spy for the enterprise was always a very important one. And I submit that to this day, empires, whether it is the United States or France or Britain, continue to use their priest. Of course, there has been changes because um, in most countries now the clergy is no longer European. You would have, black priests, but they're still playing the same role. So the man that you see here, the white man holding the kids, what is important for us to underline here, this is a way of pimping the poverty that they find in places like Haiti, the Congo. And if you go on the website of this organization, you read, "Give Haiti for Christ proclaims the gospel of Jesus Christ," that is white Jesus, "to Haitians everywhere. Your financial partnership is needed and appreciated. Please pray for us and give." It's highlighted today, and they give you a hyperlink how to give. This is not new. The so-called missionaries never financed their own enterprise. It was always something that they call on others to spend their money, and even the very salary of these fools is covered by donations collected in the name of these impoverished people who remain impoverished because that's how the business works. So that's one thing. What we've found in Haitian history, and here we're not talking, very old history, but rather very recent. This was in 2003. The government found that a white man named James White Glenn, who passes as a pastor, was smuggling illegal weapons, war grade weapons, into the country, hidden under stacks of Bibles. But this is not the only time it happened. This happened a few times in Haiti. But what is more important in this episode is that in 2003, Haiti was living a period of turmoil where the legitimate government that was elected by the people of Haiti was facing a second coup. And for the second time, the president of the United States' name was George Bush. The first time he was overthrown, it was under the former director of the CIA who became president of the United States, Herbert H.W. Bush, the father. But then in 2003, it was Bush the Lesser who was in the White House. And there were all kinds of rumors that the United States was again going to overthrow the government of Jean-Bertrand Aristide, a former liberation theologian, the first liberation theologian in the Americas to have become president. And of course, the United States, the Vatican, the whites in Haiti were all against him because his program included increasing the minimum wage and all kinds of social initiatives that went counter to the role that was assigned to Haiti, that is cheap labor. We will not call them slaves anymore, but they will have the cheapest labor in the Americas. They will serve as the control. And so if you build schools, hospitals, increase their quality of life, you're going to destroy the model so that when workers demonstrate in factories in Mexico, in Montreal, you can threaten that, okay, we're going to take the factory to Haiti because it's going to be cheaper. Well, if that changes, you won't be able to do that, and the multinational corporations will be challenged by their use of enslaved Black people in the 21st century. Now, when you go on the website of this organization, Heart of God Ministries, led by Pastor James White Glenn, they speak of army of children and of detailed strategies to gradually get a host of pastors, including Haitian pastors, of course, local pastors, to gang up and fight the demons, quote unquote, who control various cities in Haiti. Kind of terminology they were using at the time was waging war against Satan in Haiti. Now, what's most disturbing about this is that although the Haitian government found out and arrested 47-year-old James White Glenn and his wife, who were smuggling illegal weapons in Haiti, the United States Embassy in Haiti intervened and put pressure on the Haitian government so that the criminals could get scot-free getaway. And they went to the United States. And this is not the only time this has happened in Haitian history. And so missionaries are regularly used as spies, weapon smugglers who foment unrest in countries like Haiti. James White Glenn is just one of many. Well, this week, the big news was that the United States government is offering a reward of $5 million for the arrest of Jimmy Babekyou Cherizier, who is supposedly the most dangerous terrorist in Haiti. They deemed his organization a terrorist organization, and Haitians responded by saying to the United States, "Thank you for letting us letting us know that there's water in the ocean." We are the ones that he's been terrorizing all of these years. And of course, we know that there are a couple of white people who've been serving as cheerleaders for this criminal, especially in the United States, all of these years. And we will see a little bit about that later on. We even have the former US ambassador to Haiti, Pamela White, who tells everybody as loud as she can that Jimmy Babekyou Cherizier, now deemed a terrorist, should be part of the solution in Haiti. That, there needs to be negotiation with them. And you will see that this is still the plan, to make Haitians accept the most vile criminals, the most barbaric criminals in our society as our leader. Because then it's easier for the multinational corporations to go in and blackmail them so that they can get access to the Haitian gold without paying fair price. It's not rocket science. And so now, having served his role, because there were demonstrations against the puppet regime that the United States has established in Haiti because they stole billions of dollars of the Petro-Caribe funds, and there were demonstrations. Barbecue's role was to occupy the streets and stop Haitians from demonstrating against the regime. And when they decided to make a change, Barbecue started to, as he did on July 1st, 2021, to call for the former puppet president, Jovenel Moise, to depart. And 6 days later, he departed, killed by mercenaries hired by a company from Florida, CTU. 3 months earlier, this woman, Pamela White, was advising Joe Biden as to what to do with Haiti. And, the folks who were at that meeting heard her, and it is still online. You can go and listen how she is screaming that they should shove the puppet president aside, Jovenel Moise, and put a prime minister in his place, which is exactly what happened when they killed Jovenel Moise on July 7th, 2021, having retired him because he was no longer of use to them. And so now you have the terrorist led by Jimmy Babekyou Cherizier, who occupy the streets, who are burning the capital city, causing all kinds of havoc. And the response is that, well, Haiti is in turmoil. We need to save them and rescue them. Let us send US Marines to the rescue. And so now they've sent mercenaries, Blackwater mercenaries, among others, to do that. And Haitians have been saying that. And now the other group is Eric Prince. Okay. There is the former senator who sent the Studebaker mercenaries, and we'll talk about that later as well. And then Blackwater with Eric Prince. Eric Prince's racist mercenaries in Haiti are to Jimmy Babekyou Cherizier terrorist what the coyote is to the roadrunner. One provides imaginary relevance to the other, right? Beep, beep. And then, the bird is always chasing, always being chased by the roadrunner, but it should not catch it. And this guy has had an arrest warrant after him since January 31st, 2020. And he's at the heart of Port-au-Prince, very near the so-called National Palace. He's doing Facebook Lives all the time, but the US is offering $5 million for anyone who can give information about how to get to him. Meanwhile, the guy is doing interviews with Al Jazeera, with the white folks who represent him in New York, and you will see how the Haitian population talks about that. So it is a minstrel show, and nobody takes it seriously. Now, I'll play a 2-minute excerpt of this video where you will see this white American missionary. Okay, that's the name they give themselves. So they're bringing white Jesus to Haitians. You will see this guy going to Haiti, and you will see what his message is. Let us listen.
To the urgent request of an orphanage that was under imminent threat of attack by
Haiti's capital is the leader of a deadly group of gangs. After a visit from an American missionary, that gang leader is now pledging to protect orphanages and Christian workers. CBN's Chuck Holton has this exclusive report.
Port-au-Prince feels like a war zone. Gangs control the majority of the city and want more. Even so, missionary Victor Marx is still investing in ways to ease the suffering.
the reason I'm here in Haiti doing all this high-risk missionary stuff is a while back we responded to the urgent request of an orphanage that was under imminent threat of attack by many considered the most notorious gang in Haiti, the Moazi 400. It broke my heart to think of the possibilities were if this gang attack to take control over that area.
While the orphanage was saved, a desperate population remains. Some say gang leader Jimmy Babekyou Cherizier is Haiti's most dangerous man. He faces sanctions from the US and the United Nations. Entering his territory uninvited is all but suicidal. Yet when he offered an interview, Marx and his team quickly accepted.
Okay, he said there's no force coming from abroad, whether it's the Kenyans, Jamaicans, Americans, whatever, that are going to change Haiti. But the Americans have proved that already with intervention. And Jimmy always says this, unless there's a dialogue, unless Haitians can come sit at the table, you know, he's forced the hand of everybody, the international community, the politicians, the oligarchs. They're going to have to sit with them, or nothing's going to change.
Despite the overall portrayal of Cherizier, Marx sees a man on a mission.
He's truly fighting for reformation in some level.
Now, this is the Reformation, right? With young boys barely able to have sandals and clothes on them, and killing exclusively among Haiti's most impoverished Black population. Okay? They've also killed people from the middle class. And of course, when they kidnap folks, either from the most impoverished or the middle class, it is their family members living in the United States and Canada who collect the money to pay the ransom. So this is what these white criminals are presenting as revolution. Let us continue to listen to, and you will also note, you know, the air of bravado. Like the guy tells you to enter the fiefdom of these gangs is suicidal. Ask yourself, how many white missionaries have been killed by going into the fiefs of these criminals? I can only mention two. And when you go and investigate what actually happened to these two folks, they were in cahoots with a gang. And it's because of a confusion that happened, because the gang that they're usually operating with, when they came, they did not recognize them and they shot at them, and then it was friendly fire that killed them. And that's why you never hear more about those two young white so-called missionaries who were killed in Haiti not so long ago. Let us listen to the so-called Christian Broadcasting Network.
Better equality, at least of opportunity. And he doesn't make himself out to be a saint, but yet, you know, prayed with him. We got to pray with him. Here he is, hardened for vision. Pray you fill him with your spirit, God. Give him eyes and heart. Increase his capacity for love.
Well, that's a story you won't see anywhere else, where you go inside a gang leader, and what is he saying? He's saying, well, the only hope for Haiti is dialogue. As a Christian, I'll politely disagree with it on that. The only hope for Haiti is to turn wholeheartedly to Jesus and ask him to intervene on your behalf. You can dialogue all day, but if you don't have Jesus in the middle of that, you're not going to be successful.
Amen. Anyway, we don't want to spend too much time with all these fools, but I wanted to take a minute to tell you these folks that you were watching are not AI, they're real people. So this is so-called Pastor Victor Marx, and you can Google him and get more information about him. At a moment when the United States government officially is saying that they're looking for information, mobilizing $5 million to arrest this terrorist. Um, I wonder why they are not starting with these folks who have easy access to barbecue. They should be able to help the Haitian government find barbecue and arrest the terrorist. But that's not really what they want to do, right? Do you want to catch the roadrunner? I don't think so. But who was doing the translation? This white guy with all these tattoos on him? Well, he goes by several names. That's not usually a good sign. Now he's going by Jason Zeke Petrie. But the other day when we saw these things, I and others um, tried to refresh the memory of Haitians about who these nefarious characters are. Because we remember Zeke, who was then going by the name William Zeke Petrie, in 2012. And here we read, and that's what I was posting on my Facebook page. William Zeke Petrie, one of two whites arrested among the so-called remobilized militaries, the Haitian army. Okay, he is nicknamed General Zeke by young rappers in Cité Soleil. But in fact, what is his mission in Haiti? We were asking. Meanwhile, we note the government's communique states that the operation went on smoothly with no victims, yet Haiti Press Network wrote that at least 2 people perished during the Lamartin camp evacuation. That was back in 2012. And so when I posted that on my Facebook, Jason Zeke Petrie, that's the name he's going by now in 2025, wrote on July the 26th, you Haitians, you are a bunch of restavek blanc. It's very, very, very ironic. This white man is calling me a subservient to whites, and you are not going to change. You are so comfortable with whites. You are trash. And so I replied to the terrorist sympathizer, criminal Jason Zeke, who was arrested back in 2012. And as I said before, every time those white criminals get arrested in Haiti, the US Embassy in Haiti intervenes and they get released. The only reason why we know they were released is because they get rearrested. Anyway, so I told him that, he can bluff naive people who don't understand the functioning of wicked whites like him. But sooner or later, Dessalines will arise and will make things right again in Haiti. In any case, the so-called high risk, that the missionaries are claiming to be taking in Haiti is not substantiated by anything, because they know they have white privilege, they have money privilege, and the US Embassy is always there to save their asses, as the crimes that they are committing are crimes for their collective whiteness. And so there's nothing brave about all of that. And there's this American American soldier who wrote a very brave and important book on Haiti. But here I'm quoting him from an article that he published in 1999, a brief account of Haiti. Stan Goff tells us about when he was part of the 1994 invasion of Haiti, where they were supposedly returning the president that the CIA itself had overthrown. Virtually every intelligence summary I was privy to on Haiti prior to and during the invasion emphasized stories of voodoo and powders and even that old racist standby of intrinsic African deviancy, cannibalism, for anyone who had ever been there or even who had a little common sense. It was, of course, the most contemptible nonsense, but it was designed to fan racist stereotypes and ensure a lack of identification between American soldiers and the Haitian masses. You might return to this quote because it is very fundamental. This is exactly what's going on here. Okay, the reason why they are using barbecue, they're using this use to create all of this mayhem, just like they did warlords in Somalia, is to create such a mess that people stop identifying with the victims, so that when the US intervenes and start killing people senseless, you were being killed by your own anyways. So what? Collateral damage. This is what's being prepared. And of course, it is psychological warfare. All of these racist things about Haitians being cannibals and, all of that is part of the white supremacist enterprise and the invasions of other people's territories. And Stan Goff, I remind you, was a US soldier going into Haiti. And in his book, he explains how US pastors used to come and give them this intelligence summary and briefings. And whereas before leaving, they told them that, okay, we're going to bring back the president who was deposed in a coup. In fact, the pastors were telling them that, no, the president is not the good guy. We are actually with the people who overthrew the president. And so when we go in there, we're going to protect those who overthrew the president, not the other way around. They say, well, yeah, but our president, Bill Clinton at the time, is saying that, no, we are with the Haitian president. He said, yeah, but that's just for show. Okay? Very deceptive, conniving criminals. And so when you turned on your TV not so long ago in 2020 and you heard that there were 17 missionaries, 1 Canadian and 16 Americans who were kidnapped by this vicious Haitian gang, I did a whole series, and I really encourage you to go on jafrikaiti.com on the website to learn more about this episode. There's a set of videos that I showed to debunk this idea that these 17 white people were kidnapped by a vicious gang that is housed right across from the US Embassy, the huge US Embassy in Haiti. All of these days, what they were doing was preparing us mentally so that they flipped the narrative. It was no longer the Haitians who were being killed, but rather, innocent white people, even infants, who were being attacked by the savage blacks. And so if the Americans now intervene, it will be in their rights to do so, because these savages need to be saved from themselves. Nothing new in terms of what was used to justify previous interventions. And this time they even pushed the ridicule to the idea that white Jesus, because I kid you not, go listen to the videos. That's what they said. They said Jesus intervened and freed them. Meanwhile, thousands of black Haitians who were really kidnapped were murdered by these US armed kidnappers. Anyways, let's not belabor this point. I encourage you to see, we talked about that also in episode 16. And so, what's happening? Well, they are faking revolution to crush real dissent. Like I said, barbecue's use is to make sure that real opposition to the puppet regimes in Haiti cannot take root because they put these criminals in the streets. The white warlords in Haiti, the 15 white mafia families who control the economy, they are the ones who are financing the terrorists, whether it is the black terrorists like the barbecues, or putting money down like Pamela White recommended to hire US mercenaries. And I really encourage you to watch this video released this week by Dr. Jemima Pierre, who is a Haitian scholar, who talks about the presence of the Blackwaters mercenaries in Haiti. And the latest is that out of all these mercenaries, who are mostly white, there are 2 Haitians who joined them, Mio Patrick Jacquet and his cousin, and they got disappeared. No one knows whether they're still alive or not, but these fools don't understand that this is a white man's movie. You don't show up in the movie and, you are, smooching with Arnold Schwarzenegger's girlfriend or love interest. You're going to get killed in the movie very quickly. This is exactly what happened. No, I am not poking fun at what's happening here because this is a minstrel show. If you don't know what a minstrel show is, I encourage you to go and Google it and search it. This is what the racist white system in the United States have established to ridicule black people. They're creating a theater of the absurd, but in that theater, real black people are getting killed. And so when they say they're increasing the reward for the capture of barbecue, we understand exactly what is going on. You cannot have these terrorists operating in Haiti without having terrorists like Gilbert Bidjo, the richest man on the island, the representative of Israel for over 25 years, who now works in tandem with his son Reuven Bidjo, who own half of Haiti, being on the list of people sanctioned by Canada on December the 5th, 2022, for being in cahoots with the terrorists who are being sanctioned. This guy is in Florida, Miami. He lives very close to Donald Trump. You don't need to invade Haiti to arrest this guy. So why don't you? Why don't you? Is it perhaps because he is Jewish? Whereas this one, who is also accused of being in cahoots with barbecue and other criminals, but he's from Lebanon and he's been arrested by ICE and he's currently in jail. Of course, these 2 white warlords in Haiti are in competition with each other. This guy is very close to the Clintons. Perhaps this is why Donald Trump finds it easier to arrest him, but keep him untouched. But in either case, if those white warlords are not subdued, you can kill as many of the youths, the black criminals, the black warlords. You will not solve the problem because that's where the money is that orders all of these heavy weapons. And this model is what has been kept alive all of these years. And all of the signs are showing that the United States policy has not changed. The Canadian policy has not changed. They are saying one thing, but in reality, they remain very close to the white warlords and propping up their power in Haiti. What are Haitians doing about it? Well, we're fighting back. This Sunday, there's a meeting in Montreal. Haitians who have served in the Canadian Army and the U.S. Army and others are going to sit down to see how do we ensure that the actual plan of kicking Haitians out of Haiti so that they can take over the land and keep us out does not materialize or does not continue, and that we find a way to return home and chase the crazy bald heads, the criminals. Yeah, there's a lot of delusional thinking, follies of grandeur when you hear those, whether it is the so-called journalists who are doing voyeurism, pimping black poverty. So, this talk of bravado saying that, this is suicidal to go to this place. Meanwhile, they know they have white privilege, they have money privilege, and they have the US government backing them up. But this is what happened in the first US occupation of Haiti. This fool became so delusional, he named himself King of Haiti. And if you see some of the stuff that he's written and what others, this guy's workers, Faustin workers. He named himself the White King of Lagonave. A lot of white folks who go to Haiti, they let it get to their heads that the money that they have, all the privileges that they have, make them special, right? You in the middle of a bunch of impoverished people who are powerless, yeah, it might flatter your ego, but it's pretty sad that this is what you need to do. In any case, some Haitians are not fazed by it. And in New York, there was this demonstration in front of the house of one white guy named Kenneth Ives, who for the past few years have been going around being him and the U.S. ambassador Pamela White and another one named Dan Cohen, making documentaries to present the terrorist Barbecue as a revolutionary. Going, pushing the ridicule, like I said, the minstrel show, as far as getting a Che Guevara beret and giving it to Barbecue to wear. Whereas before, Barbecue used to go around with a Haitian flag, with a U.S. flag on his chest. And someone told him, no, you're giving it away too easily. You should wear Haitian flag. And now he wears a Haitian flag and a Che Guevara beret, as if, it was a magic beret who can transform a criminal into a revolutionary. And of course, you cannot escape the fact that these cynical, racist white criminals want to ridicule the real Haitian revolution by equating it with this kind of ridiculous nonsense. Let us see what Komokoda was doing in front of the house of Kenneth Ives in New York, who publishes a newspaper that he calls Haiti Liberté, and pretends that the newspaper is owned by Haitians when everybody knows that it's the white man who owns the thing. Okay? And there's a reason why they were doing that all of these years, because the optics became problematic. How come there's a so-called revolution in Haiti and it's really just three white guys two in the United States, one in Canada, who are pushing the idea? Like, how come the Haitians are not aware that they have a revolutionary in their country? And so they went on to recruit folks, from the Pan-African movement to try to trap them. And we raised our voice and we told our brother Kemi Seba, get out of this, okay? And imagine now they've named Barbecue a terrorist. Now, they could associate him with the Pan-Africanist leaders and then just arrest them because they're associated with a terrorist organization. Meanwhile, their own who live in New York, they're not arresting them. What's going on here? White privilege. Let us watch again. I know the sound is giving us time. I don't know what's happening tonight. I don't know, perhaps I have too many things open. I'm going to try to close a few websites and see if this is going to improve the situation, because without the sound, it's not the same, right? You'll agree with me, right? That's still okay. So in case, I encourage you to go on Twitter. The organization is Promopoda. It's mobilized against the dictatorship. They really do. Check it out. More better. So let's see. Sound is not coming up. Wow, how is that? Okay, let me take this out. Meanwhile, I encourage you to really research the topic. The slide that I put up there with regards to the various references, if you check them out, you'll see that the website jafricaiti.com contains a number of videos that also help to explain what is happening with missionaries. So the one titled "The Truth About White Missionaries Allegedly Kidnapped and Freed Miraculously in Haiti," it is text and video, and I really encourage you to watch the video. So let me try one last time with the commercial. I don't know what's going on. Close all of the different files. So, but what they're saying is that you should arrest the
supporting genocide
in
Haiti.
died. And this guy lives in a rich neighborhood, and he pretends to be, a leftist, just a worker. And in fact, I caught them trying to falsify an article that I wrote.
Supporting genocide
That article published without my consent on Political Tribune.
Stop supporting genocide
Leftist, and they falsify my remove a sentence in my article and then plug in an ad for the racist, outrageous documentary propaganda for Jimmy Babekyou, thus giving the impression that I support the criminal. This actually is something that needs to be investigated further. In any case, that's what I had to share with you this evening. I hope that the sharing was worthy of your time. Let me take a look at some of the comments that are on the website. Sister Magnatine says, dear brother Kim, ICE is going to turn in the barbecue and pretend that he didn't do it. We need the 5 million to pay bills and stuff, so we should go catch barbecue. Yeah, but you know what? I doubt that these fools are really going to dispatch $5 million. If they do, they're going to give it to their own cousins, because barbecue is the U.S. soldier. Okay, barbecue has been speaking all along, explaining all the connections that he has with the U.S. Embassy. And there are police officers who've also explained that barbecue has gone to the U.S. Embassy at meetings. And so, like I said, that's the role that was assigned to him, to occupy the streets. And then, of course, they've used them. And no, it's not impossible that they might kill him eventually. But whether they kill him or not is irrelevant. The fact is, they're not going to support or give money, let money, U.S. money, go to Haitian revolutionary or progressive organizations. No. I think we need to spend time thinking about more serious matters. And so I'll leave you with this video from a young Haitian from Australia who's thinking, about a different reality for Haiti. See you next week. Thank you, folks.
Non. Nous pas qu'à juste chita ici là encore.
Non. Nous pas qu'à juste chita ici là encore.
Time to gather the army.
Hello?
Ghislaine, it's Captain Drewster. Remember the favor you owe me?
Captain Drewster, remember the favor you owe
What you
me?
need, Captain?
I need an army.
An army?
Say something to me.
I need
you to set up recruitment stations at every single Haitian carnival in America.
Where's Sawapela? It's about time, El Capitan. It's about time.
You see how we move as one? Isn't it beautiful?
Pour qui ça nous besoin moun na uniforme en Haïti encore?
Pour qui sont pas content ouais pays n'gain l'autre.
What you think?
Are you sure this isn't a scam? Because if it is, I'm good. But if this is a thing, then I'm in. Gotta take our empire back, you feel me?
We are near the southeast of Haiti, near the village of Belloc. These foreigners are mining something you won't believe. Look, it's vibranium.
Some breaking news from Haiti. In a shock twist of events, the Haitian Diaspora Army, dubbed the Indigenous Army, have arrived unannounced in Port-au-Prince.
This is unbelievable. The Haitian Diaspora Army has arrived, 1,000 strong, right here in Port-au-Prince. Hope is here. Nous rive, na boule. Wakanda forever, bitches.
Go, go, go.
C'est un coup d'état?
Finally, we're home to free Haiti once again. We sent the gangs and politicians to Guantanamo Bay.
Breaking news from Guantanamo Bay. Cuba has regained control of the base, and celebrity prisoners are now arriving, facing an uncertain fate under Cuban authority.
Il nous faut 115 millions de francs en lingots d'or pour 17 heures. Compris?
Compris.
115 millions.
Un aller.
Merci beaucoup, mais tu peux garder la monnaie, on insiste.
We lost the DR because in 1825, France held us financially ransom. We just got that back, so the border is gone and big business is on. All enemies of this island are in Guantanamo now. So it's going to be free cultural festivals that will bring the people together in all our diversity.
You see all this? This is what's going to make Haiti great again, and that's why the Americans are packing their bags as we speak. You see this? Pyrolysis is the opposite of refining oil, but all that plastic you see is the perfect kickstart to Haiti's biofuel industry.
Wow.
So simple, huh?
Yep.
We are using our drone battalions mostly for deliveries. Seeds, food, love letters,
We gotcha.
What will you do next?
We are creating business loans for all Haitian citizens in diaspora, which will be paid for with our new Vibranium Trust.
That's Kenskoff, Port-au-Prince. Now we can party in Cité Soleil.
Welcome to Labadé, where only locals are welcome. All our new recruits train here for 10 weeks before they can work in the Citadel. Citadel La Ferrière is fully operational now, and we've got drones and refitted the cannons with long-range lasers which can reach the sea.
This reminds me of the Wakanda story.
But this real. That's where we're going.
Stop supporting genocide in Haiti. Them are criminals. Stop supporting genocide in Haiti. Them are murderers. Stop supporting genocide.